with tonight, Ianyoinc versus Zenzizenzizenzic. Yeah, still in the round of 32. And right now we are here in the bottom corner of the bracket. Ianyoinc is on the screen, and Zenzizenzizenzic is presumably below them. I'm not sure if we've seen any other of these bottom matches so far. Maybe the one that's missing entirely. Anyway, our fighters tonight are Ianyoinc, has a top win rate in Kari, has made the top cut as well a few times. With the favorite jack of Whisker Jammer. Maybe they'll bring it tonight. Versus Zenzizenzizenzic, one of the Kari champions from season 8. And also recently the Roseville Archon champion. With the favorite deck, ethically renowned Zenzizenzizenzic. A teammate of mine played against that recently and lost, unfortunately, but did very well regardless. Let's see what they are bringing tonight. We have Age of Ascension versus Age of Ascension. Neither of them have brought their favorite decks. With so many decks, it's often difficult to bring your favorite. But yeah, we have this in both houses, and then Sanctum and Shadows versus Logos and Mars. This is Ianyoinc's deck, a Ortanu the Chained deck, as well as some. I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't entirely look through all the things. And here is Zenzizenzizenzic deck. But that's the fun of Adaptive. We're just going to learn by watching the games. Speaking of the games, let me go to the games. They already made a lobby, and we should only have to join it. Quickly find what. Right. The password was easy. Also, let me quickly check if I can update this stream thingamajig. Why don't you let me capture? Ah, there you go. All right, that's better. We have a Crucible online where you can watch some people play. It looks like Ianyoinc will be going first. And yeah, just looking at opening hands. If okay, there you go. There are the deck lists appearing. Okay, now one thing I am going to quickly look for. Is there a hypnotic? No. Okay, so probably no creatures changing sides. So that should make these deck lists pretty permanent. So that's nice. No TCO bugs here tonight. Ianyoinc, in the meantime, starts with a single Dust Imp. Pretty solid start here. Now, I believe there is no Arises, because there are no Arises in Age of Ascension, but there are two Exhumes. So might be able to try to recur these Dust Imps, or two Dust Imps, yeah. Zenzizenzizenzic not able to answer the Dust Imp, even if they wanted to, but is going to play a Director of CYX. A card that just on its own can create a pretty massive advantage. Ianyoinc is going to into Logos, nope, into Shadows, and play some simple cards. Steals one, deals 2 damage to the Director, but isn't able to get rid of it. And the Director will be archiving the top cards for Ianyoinc, for Zenzizenzizenzic. Onto Senzi's turn, goes into Mars, plays Sky Booster Squadrons, as well as a Harvester. But yeah, we just see some perhaps a little bit regular AoE gameplay, just developing some creatures, but not really able to do anything with them immediately, and just have to build up that board to use your advantage later on. Ianyoinc relevantly does have 2 spirit ways, so we'll have those as a pressure relief valve when needed. Finds the Cold Week, but takes out the Harvester instead of the Director of CYX. Doesn't want to deal with a Mars Reap for Fortune here, so the Director gets another card. Ianyoinc, though, is on 7 Ember here and checks for the first key. Alright, actually, let me update in this quick moment of quietness. On the bottom is Ianyoinc with Bausion. Right, and on the top, Zenzizenzizenzic is taking a turn, flooding some lowest creatures on the board. Also importantly, 2 of these, Sudderkin and Hexion, below 3 power, so we'll survive a potential Spirits Away, if that's in the future at least. Majan manages to reap with the Director, but Ianyoinc will be forging the first key here. Nesting house for the top player. Alright. In the meantime, Ianyoinc has taken a turn. Golden Aura into the Umbra, makes it part of House Sanctum and uses it to fight into Sudderkin, taking away that threat and also stealing 1 Ember, and just continuing to extend the lead. And we're back to Zenzi. Takes the Sky Boosters back into the hand, puts them back into the field, develops a Mother Gun, but really not super much to be done here. No huge, hugely impactful stuff here. Really needs to have either a Mother Gun or Mind Worms already on the board to really impact anything. Shockworm could be maybe kind of nice, and No Drone will at least generate a little bit of card advantage, but pretty tough spot for Sensi here. Let me also update the score. Now it might be becoming this kind of soon, but for now, Ianyoinc is on a score of 0, and so is Sensi, but I don't think that's that one is still a 0 as well. Plays the key abduction just to be able to use 6 No Drone again. Might also see a stun on the Umbra. That could be important enough. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. Purchase a Tentacus. Cool demon, but not too many artifacts that have to be used on Ianyoinc's side. Some are relevant, of course, the Life Ward and the Mines. But yeah, that's a later problem, and the Umbra is a right now problem. And here we see the Spirit's Way, resetting that board that Sensi has fought so hard to build up. And being left with just a Umbra and a Hexion. Hexion awkwardly dodges the board wipe, but kind of wants to die. Yeah. Now, of course, Sensi might be able, with some archiving, to build up the archive enough, especially with the triple Hexion, to perhaps on the second go through the deck go to a pretty good key abduction. And problem is we might not get there in time. But we do find another director, Labor to archive a card, and yeah, Hexpion takes out the Umbra, archives itself and the top card of the deck. So that's some pretty nice efficiency. Only 11 cards before the flip, while Ianyoinc is only 18 cards deep into their own deck. And also getting to that first key right now. I'm going to take a little bit of a think about what's next. Classic AOA card, Swindle. Steals 3, goes to check, but will give Sensi, won't do anything to develop the board or pressure Sensi in any other way. But still, I think going to check here is pretty justified. We are at 6 cards in the archive right now. The problem though is that even with a single key abduction, since you will need to make 2 other keys, well, this might at least stall, especially if we now also see a charrette. Question mark? Any charrettes in the chat here? Yeah, there it is. We'll be able to stall this one. And finds a poltergeist, even to blow up the artifact on Ianyoinc's side. Now, does Sensi want to shuffle any creatures back? And it doesn't seem to be that way. He's going to purge some own cards and takes that to Skybooster Squadrons. Fair enough. Does need to unlock Gateway and discards it. This is a pretty good turn for Sensi. Setting up to tax a future key by 3 with the Lash of Broken Dreams. If the charrette ever leaves the field. We'll have to go back into this, but might still actually have quite a few cards of those left. But he took the Archives last turn. Pretty large turn, but that's because the Archives had been picked up. That's maybe a little bit unfortunate. More fortunate, for Sensi's perspective at least, is this pretty mediocre Shadow's turn from Ianyoinc. Just plays a Whistling Darts for an Ember, and plays 2 creatures, and has to call it there. Now I do think we still have 2 Exhumes left, right? So still some pretty large burst potential left in this at least. In the meantime, Sensi goes into Mars, Mother Guns to take out the Knuckles Bolton, and play some creatures, but isn't able to stop Ianyoinc here, who is going to forge for 6. That's the downside of picking up the Archives. You won't draw into any more cards of the house you just played. And so, since he didn't have an opportunity to go back to this to try to tax the key here. Ianyoinc on 2 keys now. Age of Ascension, so key color doesn't matter. Unless it does, type in chat what your favorite key color is. Oh god. We do, however, see a pretty decent Mars board here. Which will be able to steal 1, reap twice, kill some stuff with the Mother Cannons if left unchecked. So we go into Shadows, and we see the Long Fused Mine come down to potentially deal with some of that stuff on a later turn. Also uses Dust Chronicles to draw one card. Might have been the long-fused mine, but probably will have resulted in just one ember. But with Zenzizenzizenzic taking out the charrettes, Ianyoinc is pretty close to the first key here. And since he goes into Logos, plays a Seismo Entangler, some Hexpions that have been stuck in the archive, all the Hexpions, and a Professor Sutterkin. Now this is pretty scary. Sutterkin will be able to draw 6 next turn. Question might be though, is there any Ember control in Logos? And I think that we know kind of historically that the answer is not really, unless you have a helper bot that can let you play a non-Logos card. So even with this scary Logos board, it might be enough for Ianyoinc to just make one Ember here to, at the very least, force Sensi into a this turn. But let's see what they decide to do. And goes into Shadows. Stealing even one is already pretty tempting, just to take away that key from Zenzi here. But yeah, of course, the long-fused mines didn't have to go into Shadows, of course. It is an Omni action. It has found a Ronnie Wristlocks. Yeah, that will do most of what is needed here. Decided to fight with the Zenzizenzizenzic into Sutterkin. I don't know if that was entirely necessary, because now you did give another option to Sensi, unfortunately, with the Ember control on the Mind Warper. And yeah, he's going to reveal a single Mind Worm twice to take out the Ronnie, to take Ianyoinc off check and get to 7. It will probably be mostly irrelevant here. This game seems pretty over, and I don't think Ghostmaster Nesting House will be able to stall from here. Especially with Exhume on the Ronnie Wristlock stealing 2, that's gonna hurt. And Scullion taking out the Ronnie to be reused on a later time. How many Ronnies are in the deck, by the way? Just 1, alright. So yeah, Ianyoinc now at 8, forcing Sensi into a this turn. Gup, the Taunter, puts a charrette next to it. Unfortunately, Ortano the Chained is on the field right now. And if there is only one binding in the discard right now, but with another one, we'll be able to take out the charrette from behind the Gup. Ooh, there is a Pandemonium here though, so lots of capture happening here. But still, playing Binding, Reaping, kills all these 3 creatures, the charrette, the Gup, and the Mind Warper, and we'll put Ianyoinc back onto check. Now if the Binding wasn't found, Ortano can still Reap and kill all the marsh creatures. Then the Gup will lose Taunt, and then we'll be able to kill the charrette just with a regular fight. But has found the second Ortano's Binding, and that should pretty well end this game. Oh. That's happened pretty quickly, so I feel like I wonder if Ianyoinc has simultaneous abilities auto-ordered, because here you can take out the Shockworm before applying its after Reap effect, right? Yeah, should be. But maybe just clicked on something very quickly. Either way, it doesn't really matter. stunned creatures don't really matter if you have 15 Amber. And I believe Sensi is out of answers to try and stop this. So game 1 should be going to Ianyoinc. And yeah, Sensi concedes here. Let me grab those log files. Got logs. And here we are in the reversal matchup. This time Ianyoinc playing Sensi's deck and vice versa. And Ianyoinc having earned a spectacular 1 next to their name. Hooray! They have figured out the starting deck, and we should be seeing another game here. Excuse me, it's a little bit late here, but that's okay. Yeah, that's Ortanu. We saw it at the very end of the game, but it seems to kind of single-handedly wreck most of Zenzizenzic's deck. Not much in there that can survive an Ortanu hit, and especially not a double Ortanu hit. Sensi starts off with a Child the Safeguards. Taunt maybe not being the most important because there's not a lot of things in his own deck that can fight through it. And here we see Ianyoinc also with the director of CYX, but combining it with the lab work this time to hopefully get some value out of it as well. The director of CYX did put in a lot of work last game, so if Ianyoinc wants to have any chance of trying to win the reversal game, probably will need these guys to do some work. But now Zenzizenzic has double Dust Imp as well as 2 Ortanus Binding. First one takes out the armor on Child Safeguard. Second one is going to kill a Dust Imp, maybe. Perhaps, perchance. No. Wants to keep the Dust Imps on the board. Fair enough, they'll probably die sometime, somewhere, some way. How did unfortunately, of course, the Spirit Waves don't actually hit them. So you might have to fight with them sometime. But that's also okay. But yeah, here, Director of COX, once again, archiving the card. Very potent card from the chair. Ianyoinc goes into Mars, so probably not really doing anything. Just getting down some cards. Finds the No Drone. Archives and purges a Gug to stun a Dust Imp here. And 2 more low-powered creatures. I guess the advantage of stunning a Dust Imp here is that you cannot double fight into the Mind Warper. So that will still be turned on, assuming nothing else happens, of course. But here something else does happen. The Long Fused Mines are being set up. Place a Ronnie for only quote-unquote minimal value. And archives a card with Dust Chronicles. Yeah, that Long Fused Mines, pretty bad news for the Mars deck. And at some point it will just kind of take out most of your board you have been working so hard to set up. Especially if combined with the Whistling Darts will take out more or less all of your creatures. Very few that survive that. So goes into Mars and wants to use it before he loses it. I'm assuming we're going to see a steal with Mind Warper. And maybe no, okay, just goes for the Reef with the Mind Worm. Unfortunately, you cannot really take anything out. Oh, right, Key Abduction. That's a card. Yeah, uses Key Abduction to for only 4 Ember Forge Key. Again, that director putting in some work to enable that, and of course the no drone as well. No, wait, the no drone archive purged the cards from the archive, so maybe not most relevant. So yeah, this time we see Ianyoinc again in the lead with keys. But is he going to be able to hold this lead? Stuns the second Dust Imp. Really wants to try to prevent those from fighting. And with both Ortanus bindings in the discard, this might actually kind of come back to haunt Zenzizenzizenzic. There are not a lot of ways to kill your own creature outside, of course, of playing Ortanu and then next turn reaping with it. That will, of course, get back the bindings. And might be difficult for Ianyoinc to stop. So yeah, Ianyoinc builds up the Marshport again of the Key Abduction, puts the Mind Warper and the Director of COX on the sides, values those most. Of course, the Shockworm and the No Drone also have 1 armor, so activating the mines right now would only kill the Mind Worm. Zenzido goes into Sanctum. A Spirit Ray could be pretty good here. And yeah, has found that one. Wipes out most of Ianyoinc's board. And Grey Riders to unstun a Dust Imp here. And also importantly, gets to check for that first key. Now, Ianyoinc hasn't gone this into quite a while, I think. And that's because... Oh, he does have this. Okay, never mind, yeah. So we might be seeing this called this turn. And both of the charrettes would be able to stall the key here. But Sensi very... Well, either coincidentally or very smartly has placed both Dust Imps not on the flank. So that even if Ianyoinc poltergeist the lone fused mines, they will die. So yeah, both players putting in some thought about the positioning of their creatures here. You love to see it. And Ianyoinc is going to go into Logos. So still stalling that this turn. That has to happen sometime probably. It has found some more stuff to do in Logos. Maybe another Director of CYX, immediately replacing the first one. No, but we do have a... Oh, yeah. Yes, it is there. And yeah, all pretty scary Logos creatures. Director of CYX, Feather Silicon, and to an extent also the Hexpion. It does mean, however, that Zenzi will get to forge a key as well. both players on one key here, on different colors, interestingly enough. What does your key colors say about you? Find out on page 23. Oh, I have to go move. Unfortunately, there is no outlet near where I was originally sitting, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of a relocation. Let's put one at least. One moment while I grab my chair. Alright, we're back, and it looks like we missed nothing good. Or perhaps less good. Anyway. Oh no, we did miss quite a bit. We missed Zenzizenzizenzic's turn. I think. No, wait, no, we saw that. No, we didn't. Okay, yeah, no, Zenzizenzizenzic did some stuff, killed a Dust Imp, nice, and also played an Abeta Grim. And now we're back to Ianyoinc. Does go into this time. Plays out the Lash, Tentacus and Charette. Tentacus pretty nice with long fused mines. Now at least since you will have to pay to activate those. And plays a pain reaction. Now that can kill a lot of the board. Yeah, but doesn't want to take out the Dust Imp, and so puts it onto the Abate, which does still allow him to, with Misery Exploit, gain an Ember as well. And plays Not Finished With You. Will you see any shuffles? Yeah, Professor Sudekin hopes to, in the future, do something with that. And this game is looking a little bit better than the last one, I'd say. Maybe because of that clutch key abduction for 4. Maybe just, yeah, I don't know. Draw order, of course, can always matter. But yeah, here Zenzizenzizenzic will use the long fused mines. We'll have to pay 1 for the privilege. And exhumes both Dust Imps back into the field. As well as putting out Ortanu. Ortanu putting some pretty major pressure onto Ianyoinc's board. And also, but also cannot really use the unlocked gateway here. Or risk giving a lot of Ember to his opponent. 7 would be pretty bad. Ianyoinc is still getting value from the ZOX researcher. Archiving 1 more card here. Might have archived the card for 4 out of 6 turns this game. Pretty insane. Director of ZOX. It says on the card Scientist, but it's actually a witch. And it's a witch that's living right now. So that might provide a path to a 2-0 here. And goes into this on back-to-back turns. Reaps with the Charette. Is he going to be forced to use the unlocked gateway here? You give 7 Ember back to your opponent, and that's not great. But at least a lot of the scary cards are gone. Both exhumes means you won't be seeing those creatures back, and I can see an argument for it, although it's probably going to hurt. But I mean, if you don't do it, both those imps are so easy to kill, and Ortanu will also kill your entire board. So it might actually be kind of similar. And with the lash activation, you will immediately tax for 3. So yeah, no, actually thinking about this more and more, this would be a pretty good spot to have a unlocked gateway. It's going to purge some stuff from the opponent. Showing both exhumes. No, goes for the double Spirit's Way. Takes out all of the board clears in Zenzizenzizenzic. And yeah, here we do see the unlocked gateway. A lot of ammo for Zenzizenzic, but with the Lash of Broken Dreams, Forge for 9, and only has 2 Ember remaining. Still, of course, ahead by a significant margin, but with Ianyoinc on check, not as much as the first game. I think, yeah. If a 2-0 is possible, Ianyoinc is doing everything in their power to get there. Sensi goes into Shadow, steals one with Nerve Blast and plays a Umbra. A pretty manageable turn, and it means that Ianyoinc will be forging here. So yeah, let's quickly check what's left in Ianyoinc's deck from behind this black bar. So I think we have a lot of Logos cards left actually. We have both Directors and the Lab Work. But the Sutterkin was shuffled back to the deck. No, but we go into Mars. The Umbra cannot be allowed to live. And so with developing a Mother Gun and 2 creatures onto the board, does some stuff. And this is kind of a losing proposition probably. If you if your opponent plays a creature and gains an Ember every turn, and then you only kill that creature and play some stuff, in the late game that's probably not enough to win. Especially with Sensi on 3 now already. Only needs 3 more to start checking and start pressuring Ianyoinc here. And goes for Sanctum. Now this is very important. Unable to use both golden auras, so a lot of value being lost there. Does equalize for 1 Ember, but yeah, Sensi seems to be losing some steam here. Let's also do a quick check on Sensi's deck. We see 5 discards remaining, 4 Sanctum, and then I guess 3 Shadows cards. Or no, wait, here are some stuff as well, of course. So mostly this and Shadows, I believe. And 2 Sanctum cards. But yeah, any hugely impactful stuff? The Life Ward's pretty nice. And I guess you have a Whistling Darts, but it looks like there's very few Ember left in Zenzizenzic deck. And against a double Professor Sutterkin, this might actually be some trouble. Very important here to make 2 Ember. If you can, Ianyoinc won't be able to go into Logos at least. If you can't, that might be bad. But has a Hideaway Hole and a Life for Life. So even gets to take out a Sutterkin. And gets to check, and that's pretty huge. Is the Whistling Darts already gone? No, okay, so did actually have a good amount of Ember in Shadows left. And yeah, that might be enough to put Ianyoinc out of the game. Of course, still has options. The Leisure of Broken Dreams will be able to stop for at least this turn. But the long-term prospects might not be too sunny here. Now this one does help. Pandemonium for 4 and Charette capturing all of the remaining Ember. This actually might be just what was needed. With both Spirit Ways and the long-used mines gone, there are no more board wipes in Bausion left. And yeah, since he goes into this, plays a Life Ward and a Binding Irons, and plays a Tentacus and a Kuldaweek, gets to destroy some stuff, make some Ember, but only gets to 3 here. Gives the Tentacus elusive. I think that's, well, I mean, it's also relevant for the reshuffle, of course. It's just another Ember icon that goes back into the deck. And I think that's probably the main consideration here. Also with Tentacus, activating the Lash of Broken Dreams becomes pretty painful. As well, of course, as the Seismo Entangler. And I mean, yeah, and every artifact becomes painful. So yeah, let's see if Ianyoinc can provide some burst here. Since he did just go through the deck, so all of the scary cards are available potentially once more. Running Wrist Clogs, Abated Grim, Golden Auras, all sorts of nasty stuff. Yeah, Ianyoinc goes into Logos. Possibly the last time he's able to do so as well, with the Life Ward looming in the distance. Let's see if they have found a Hexpion to... Yes, there is an Hexpion already. Any more Logos creatures? I think there's a Pip somewhere. Another Hexpion, nice, nice. And the Titan Mechanic on a flank. And yeah, draws 5 cards with Sudderkin. That's gotta feel pretty good. There's the Pip. It seems to be in the bottom 2 cards of the deck. And a Reap with the Hexpion. Uses the Seismo Entangler. Now, Tentacus is kind of tricky in that TCO does not warn you at the moment you're about to use an artifact. So TCO will say, are you sure you want to end the turn? You still have this awesome artifact that you can still use. But when you're going to use it, it won't say anything about the Tentacus ability. I wonder, I mean, I don't want to assume ignorance on the players, of course. But that might actually be a unintentional gifting of an Ember here. I would not specifically expect Zenzi to go into this again. Now, relevantly, Zenzi doesn't use the Life Ward here at 6 Ember. Also pretty important, has found the Whistling Darts and the Hideaway Hole shuffled into the deck for the Ember, which gets them to check, especially since the Titan Mechanic is on flank here. But with the Whistling Darts, Pandemonium is turned off as a Ember control option. So let's see how Ianyoinc is going to get out of this, if at all, of course. There is the Leisure of Broken Dreams, but with the Tentacles on board, it becomes more and more painful to use, and is not really a long-term strategy. But yeah, Ember control in itself is kind of limited. Has to go into this. Now, did he find the other Charette? That would prevent him from activating the Lash of Broken Dreams here. Pain reaction, gets an Ember and deals 2 damage. Now here, in kind of desperation, you could use the Charette to fight the Tentacles, and then use Leisure of Broken Dreams without paying Ember, to increase the key cost to 9. Ooh, yeah, Poltergeist also tricky. This one might be more intentional, of course, but Tentacles doesn't make you pay an Ember to use your artifacts, but all artifacts. So even with the Poltergeist, we'll still have to pay an Ember. And yeah, that might be the end of that. Maybe some Tentacle shenanigans ending that a little bit prematurely, but yes. Let me get the logs instead of talking about all of this. But yeah, this is of course the preferred outcome for the final refrain update, because it means we get to see a third game, the most important game, the adaptive game, the chain bidding. Both players on one win here. So yeah, feels like we saw two very different sides of this matchup here. One where the deck was absolutely steamrolling, and the other where just barely Sensi's deck managed to squeak out the victory. So that will make chain bidding a little bit difficult, I think. I think though that yeah, I think like 4 or 5 chains might be the correct bits. Now, I was massively wrong earlier tonight when I said the same kind of thing about not tonight's game, but let's focus on this game and let's see these players go to 5. Come on, they need some new pants. There we go, into the adaptive game. So, both players have to select a deck. Who knows? Maybe we'll see them select different decks. No, we both see them going for Bausion, the Acrobat of Gold. Let me just quickly check. That is the... Not this deck, right? Yeah. Bausion, Ianyoinc's deck. And it will be Sensi to make the first bid here. It starts with a modest 2 chains. Fair enough. Ianyoinc goes up to 3. And Sensi goes up to 4. Ianyoinc jumps ahead to 6 chains here, which is interesting because 6 is often the number you are skipping. This is not quick draw friendly here. And Sensi goes to 8. True to the name, maybe something with 2 powers of 2. Anyway, we did not see the players go to 5. In fact, they didn't even mention 5. That's how bad my idea was. But Ianyoinc is going to pass here, and we'll have Sensi play Bausion for 8 chains. I think that's a... It's slightly higher than I was expecting, but I think that's probably a reasonable bit. Changing the starting player, and we should be good to go for the final game. So 8 chains means that Sensi will draw a starting hand of... I forget who the starting player is. It is Sensi. So it means a starting hand of 5 cards. After that, has a hand of 4 cards, and then goes back to 5-card hands for the foreseeable future, at least. Now there is a Binding Irons in one of the 2 decks. Oh no, it's okay. It is in Bausion, right? No, there's no shadow. Okay. No, the... No, there's this here. Wait. What's happening? What's happening right now? Why? Both decks have this. Yeah. So why does this deck not... Okay, let's not look at it. Oh, okay, the Mars. There's a Mars icon, but it's a this house. Yeah, no, got it. Check. In the meantime, we see some quick turns. Starts with a Dust Imp. We see the Key Abduction go. No value to be gained from that this turn. And then we see a somewhat strong Sanctum board is able to reap with Obey the Grim. And dumps the one ember that it captured. And then it's back over to Ianyoinc. And already, Ianyoinc might be feeling some of the pressure from that start here. And it goes into Logos. Also, notably, as opposed to both previous games, no directors of COX have come out. And so some of that efficiency that Nesting House used to keep up with Bausion, especially in game 2, isn't there to help. And might actually kind of be negating those chains, if you think about it. Zenzi already back down to 4 chains, has 4 more turns of drawing 1 card less. While Ianyoinc is still pretty not really off to the races. Hasn't established a board, hasn't made a lot of Ember. So might be a little bit of a tricky spot. Mystery Exploit for no value, not finished you. Okay, has found an unlocked gateway, so will at least be able to get rid of the current pressure. Has to give to Ember for that pleasure, but you have to do what you have to do, of course. And since he goes into Shadows, steals one with Nerve Blast, and just makes some Ember, not doing anything much to the board. But there is no board, so there's nothing that needs to be doing. And it's already pretty close to a second key here. Well, Ianyoinc has only found 2 of the 5 artifacts. Okay, I mean, the 4 relevant artifacts. I'm not counting the Quantum Finger Trap here. And yeah, has to try to build up a little bit more of a Mars board. But with no creatures to punish with the Mother Gun, is not doing a whole lot here. Yeah. Oh, blink and you miss it. Mostly because nothing on the board changed. But yeah, Sensi plays 2 Ortanus Bindings and discards a Scullion. Goes to check here, but Ianyoinc is going to prevent the second key by capturing onto pretty much all his creatures. Of course, Sensi does still have 2 board vibes, I believe. Yeah, none have been discarded. So 1 Spirit's Way, and we'll get back all of that Ember except the one on the Mind Worm here. And in the meantime, Ianyoinc goes into Logos. 3 of a kind. Hexion. Oh, can we make a full house? Can we make a full house? Ah, no full house. Okay. Well, anyway, puts down some Logos creatures to either reap or archive depending on what happens. These will survive the Spirit's Way, which could be both a blessing and a curse. Won't survive the Long-Fused Mines, but now Sensi is under the threat of Tentacus. Long-Fused Mines could very well still be worth it, but will cost 1 Ember to activate in this position. It also cannot be activated without any Ember, so in perhaps this turn without any Ember icons, we'll be able to Long-Fused Mines here to take off that pressure. So yeah, Sensi having a little bit of a think about the turn to come, goes into Sanctum. It has been a while, right? Yeah. I think this is the first. We see the Shadows Ambassador coming down. The Ambassador's pretty cool cycle. They're elusive 1-power creature. And after they fight it or reap, they can use or play a card from their respective house. So think of... oh no, it's so late, I'm forgetting all the names. Tabor, right, think of Tabor and then think of a worse creature. I'm just kidding. No, they are pretty cool, but can be a little bit slow and not too reliable. But it is down here. Also, we see Golden Aura coming down to use Knuckles Bolton, and takes out one of the Hex Peons. Just kind of taking away that Logos Delta. Isn't able to do anything about the CYX here. Could have, of course, also gone for the Yancy Gang to steal 1 Ember, but decides that keeping down the board is more valuable here. Which I can't disagree with. Like, you're ahead on Ember. The only way you're losing is if Ianyoinc is able to leverage that board. We do now see the director start directing and archiving the top cards from the deck, while Ianyoinc goes into Mars. Is going to Mother Gun something. Unfortunately only have 4 cards. But with the Mind Worm is able to finish the job and take out all of Sensi's board. Sensi in the meantime still has a 5-card hand, but has lost the final chain here. And so next turn will be Unchained. But whoa, look at that board. Sensi gets to forge a 2nd key, but that's quite something. Goes into this. Are you going to see the Long-Fused Mines being popped here? Not yet. First kills the Weeks to destroy something. Plays a Dust Imp and exhumes a something. Is Ronnie in there? No, it's going to use the Grey Rider and fight the Dust Imp into the Tentacus, perhaps? Yes, the Tentacus. And now we'll be able to use the Long-Fused Mines to clean some of the stuff up. Or well, at least we see another exhume. And doesn't even care about the board. And yeah, at 7, it is kind of difficult for Ianyoinc to stop the key here. This would be the way to do it. The Charrette or the Pandemonium being kind of the only options, and Pandemonium not being that. But yeah, Charrette comes down. Probably the only answer here. And is going to, with Creeping Oblivion, take out some problematic cards. Takes out the bindings, yeah, fair enough. At least if Sensi wants to develop Ortanu, we'll still have a 7-power creature, but won't be able to do much else with it. And also takes out the Grey Rider. So yeah, Sensi back down to 4 Ember, but goes into Sanctum. Okay, and now finally the board clears up after a Spirit's Way. Going back to 7 Ember. And yeah, it's one of those things where the deck that's chained is performing better than in the previous 2 games. That's a little bit unfortunate. Ianyoinc does get to forge a key here. That's a nice consolation prize. But yeah, pretty tough spot to get out of here. Goes into this. Only thing, yeah, that is something. Maybe since you will blow up their own ember, or give you some ember. That's the out we're playing towards here. But it seems that no, since he's going to give himself ember, a advanced strategy in adaptive here, but one that does occasionally let you win a game of Keyforge. And yeah, it seems like Ianyoinc doesn't have anything else to do here. He's going to go out in a blaze of glory, playing a beautiful lowest turn. Hexfield. Okay, do we have a full house this time? Come on. I know the director's in the graveyard, but do we have a full house this time? Full house, double Sutterkin. We can do it. Fullest houses. Okay, no full house. And Sensi wins the game. Congratulations.